Hello and welcome to the TTS podcast. It's a gamer thing number, I believe it's number 6. I'm hoping it is because that's what I've put on the stream title. I'm your host, Emo Girl.
I'm your co-host, James Bond 6926.
Your editor-at-large known issues, and the semi-absent phenomenon.
Do, 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 do.
Bite me.
Phenomenon.
That was a
As he
very
returns.
sexy burp. Oh, so he actually disappeared. When I muted you
No,
guys,
he-
he disappeared.
Yeah, I decided that would be a great time to take a piss.
Oh,
Yeah, me
wonderful. You couldn't have done that 10 minutes ago. Dang.
Yeah, it would have been.
I did the same thing, but I made it back before he did.
Okay.
I'm sure our audience is fascinated by our toilet systems and
Well, I
diet
instantly got...
rhythms and so forth.
I instantly
However,
got...
we've got an action-packed show for you this week.
Oh,
It's just
totally.
so action-packed.
Veritable barn burner. Where shall we begin?
I just want to point out that instantly, as soon as we went live, I got 2 messages. One saying, yeah, and the other one saying, woo, in capitals.
From
so, yay, our one viewer, Mr. Redneck.
who? Oh.
And now he said, fuck yeah. That was me, brother? Yeah, it was you. Anyway, let's have a look. What are we supposed to be talking about? Games. Games. He wants to talk about
Wait.
games.
James, what's that?
I don't know.
What have we been playing, people?
Go ahead.
Well, I have played one game and one game only. In the past week, I have got... Let's have a look. What does Steam say? Oops, I forgot to post the announcement. Whoopsie. There we go. 147 hours of Kerbal Space Program. To be
In what-
fair, about 40 of those hours I was sleeping. But the other 107 hours or so are legit hours that I've played of that game.
In what space of time?
In about the past week, that's about how long I've had it.
About 100 hours in a week. Not a bad week.
Not a bad week.
It was a horrible week. 4 days. It took me 4 days to fucking dock. 4 days to dock a tiny little trading docking ship that I made after trying to dock a proper ship.
For those of our listeners who may not know, Kerbal Space Program is a computer game that is a simulation. I guess it's a space program simulation wherein you more or less fabricate a spacecraft and then put it into orbit and intricately maneuver the thing so that it'll eventually dock in some location, and you basically venture out into space this way. Basically, you're NASA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a NASA simulation. So, as Nolan just said, you got the whole designing your rocket. Note that you design it from scratch. You've got so many parts at your disposal to make this thing. You've got huge differences between liquid fuel and solid fuel boosters. They burn in a way that real ones would as well. You jettison them the way you would with real ones and stuff to get them into orbit. You've got your docking, but you've also got the fact that you go to moons and other planets and stuff. There's a whole solar system which is freaking huge. I believe the furthest away planet is something like 13 billion kilometers, which is kind of crazy. I'm probably never going to manage to get there. I barely got to the moon.
Yeah.
But
There's probably shit beyond that too.
Not
Knowing
yet.
that game,
there's gonna
knowing
be-
that game, there's probably some giant bears sitting on the edge of the universe.
I hope so.
They love their Easter eggs.
It better be a panda. But I know in the future updates there's going to be more buildings underground that you do stuff with, and one of them you'll be able to discover other bodies to visit somehow. I'm not sure how the mechanics of that are going to work exactly.
Oh, that would be kind of cool.
Hopefully
You just
they'll
like
add-
have a mini game. You just like have a mini game of looking for constellations and.
Yeah, I'm hoping they'll have other solar systems, not just other bodies in the current solar system, but add other solar systems later or something. But yeah, you've got all that. Then you can design rovers as well, and then you design your launcher for that rover and how to get it from the planet that you're starting on, which is Kerbin, which resembles Earth. It's very similar to Earth in the way it's formed. And you send it to like the moon or another planet, and then you've got to land that rover safely and drive around on the planet to look at it. Currently there's nothing on any other planets, and they have confirmed, which I was very sad about, that there is not going to be any alternate forms of life on other planets. There's going to be no alien life forms to discover, which kind of sucks.
Yeah. Now they just need to combine this game with Spore.
That would be ridiculous, but that would be
Yeah,
overly complicated. It's complicated enough as it is.
Dish of the universe.
Anyone
Yeah.
wondering? Anyone who's wondering why there isn't currently videos of me playing KSP is the fact that I did the very first time I played it, I streamed it and it went horribly. I was like, we don't need the tutorial, because I'm always like that in games. I never play tutorials. Yeah, I needed that tutorial. I couldn't do shit. I streamed it again a second time and it went horribly again, so I was like, I'll leave the stream on here, but it gets automatically deleted after a couple of weeks. But now that I've been playing it all week, I will be doing a better video, which will be on the YouTube channel. And we're gonna
to be honest, Kerbal Space Program is not the most exciting thing to watch.
Not really.
It depends. If you like seeing people fail horribly, it is very good to watch.
Yeah, or if you like watching an architect painstakingly create a design, then maybe
Oh shit, that one strut on the left side is slightly off. Well, better go scrap my whole design and restart it.
Exactly, that's the way it works. Put it this way, it took me, to get my first mini lander into orbit, it took me 2 days. Just for
have you even got a lander on the Mun yet?
No. I haven't even tried to visit the Mun. I've gone to the one that's further away because it seems easier to get to. It sounds crazy, but it seems much easier to get to because of the slower orbit of it. And that's Minimus, which is the Earth's second moon, or Kerbin's second moon.
By the way,
I currently have a lander orbiting that at about 1,000 kilometers. But it hasn't got any field to land.
Kerbin.
So if you wanted to say 3 things about Kerbal Space Program, or maybe you only wanted to say 1 or 2, what are they?
In other words, telling you to shut up.
Absolutely wonderfully awesome. Absolutely horribly destroying to the mind. And if you like to be tortured, get it.
Alright, here's my 2 cents to put in. It's a great game if you can build your own goals. It's a great game if you don't mind experimenting. That's the biggest thing about that game. You experiment with different rockets, you fail, and you try it again. That's the biggest part of it. You just sit there failing and failing until you actually get it right, then you, hooray, I've gotten into orbit. Now what?
Oh, also, well, other than...
You gotta be able to set your own goals. It's got, like, nothing. It just gives you, here's how to build ships. And, yep.
Well,
have fun.
It's currently in beta, and it's constantly getting more and more expensive as they add more features to it. What they will be adding later is a full campaign, so you will have...
see, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, you'll have actual goals there. At the moment, it's only a sandbox mode, so you do have to make your own goals.
And one other thing. Every part has a price value, but they do nothing with it.
Yeah, that's for later. Sandbox mode will never have to pay for it, but when you're in the campaign, you're going to have to buy parts. You're going to have to be very careful about destroying your ships, because they're going to be very expensive to rebuild. And I think they've also stated that your Kerbins, you're going to have to actually hire them and train them, I think.
Oh, that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Also, the in-cockpit views, like your command control rooms and stuff like that, at the moment you can't do anything in them except change the throttle. That's the only thing you can do. But in later updates, you're going to be able to flick all the switches and stuff, turn things on and off from inside the craft. That'll be fun. That'll be like a proper rocket simulation.
Yeah, I've actually been watching Kerbal Space Program for quite some time. Like I bought it well before it was on Steam.
I was watching it for quite a while. I didn't know what it was because I didn't watch any videos deliberately. The only thing that I saw was the tutorial. So when I actually bought this game, I never tried the demo. I never watched any videos other than the trailer. And I already knew I'd like it. But I thought all you did was build a rocket and get into space. I didn't know the depth of all the shit that I've been doing the past week at all.
Right.
Oh my
And
god.
by the way, listeners, if you'll notice, the two guys who are enthused about this game are kind of like the two of the two among us who are sort of more engineers, a little bit more computer programming type dudes themselves. Although they're not programmers per se, but let's just say that okay, there you go. They build their own systems. They fiddle around with things. They go into contests with computers and stuff like that. So it's pretty much if you're like an engineer, or
if you like playing with Legos, you'll win. You'll love it.
That's true. Another point to make is, other than
Legos
the rockets and rovers, you do actually make planes as well. There's a space plane hangar where you make space planes as well as in atmospheric planes if you want, so not to go in space. I've seen a few videos recently on YouTube since getting the game and playing it for myself. I've actually watched a few videos, and a lot of people seem to think that a plane will be easier because it's staying in the atmosphere. Trust me, if you get the game, start with a rocket. Start with a very basic rocket. Planes are so freaking hard to make. I've finally managed to get two off the ground.
There's also pre-made. Those things are nice to learn the flight system.
Kind of, if you can get them off the ground.
Mostly work. Except for the vertical takeoff.
They mostly work only just. Barely. One of them I tried and it just got to the end of the runway and crashed. I took off the little tail thing that I had at the end, put on a third jet booster engine, and then it worked fine. This is a stock one that the game provides you with, and it can't even take off. You have to edit it to get it to take off. That's how horrible it is.
Yep.
And making my first in-atmosphere jet was horrible, but I managed to get it to lift off the ground. It's got a lot of control surfaces that move, so controlling the actual craft is insane, but it works. And I landed it safely. Bill Kerman did not die.
Now just never ask Jeff to build you a Land Rover. You will end up with about 5 dozen wheels.
Yeah, so my motto is, if something doesn't work, add more wheels. When in doubt, add more wheels.
Yeah, which is weird on a rocket, but somehow still do it.
Yeah, even on rockets.
Rockets is more struts.
Yeah, with rockets, I always say, when in doubt, add more struts, because those little struts are ridiculously strong. Crazily so.
They are.
I had a thing that was wobbling like a dildo earlier. I kid you not, it was wobbling like a rubber dildo. And I put a few struts on either side, and it was perfectly sturdy after. It didn't wobble at all. So struts are an amazing thing.
Your dildo wouldn't wobble either if you taped 2 freaking popsicle sticks on it.
True, I might have to try that. Wait, what? Did somebody say I have a dildo? Did somebody say I have popsicles? Ooh, I'm
Anyway, let's not go into your toy collection. Wait, what? Let's keep...
And
that's where we get derailed.
For marital aids. But anyway, enough of Kerbal Space Program and its attendant dildo.
Awesome. Attendant dildo.
What else have we been playing, people?
I've been playing. I played a bit of what was it? Call of Duty Black Ops.
Good.
And played.
Ooh.
But by the way, you can see at least 3 of us here are PC elitists, so there's a PC master race, I should say.
Yeah, PC Master Race. Very quickly, James, your mic is a bit quiet.
My mic is quiet.
Yeah, a
There we
little
go.
bit. That's a bit better.
Okay.
And you're getting booed by Redneck in the chat as well.
He can boo me all he wants.
We have really politicized this COD situation.
I've also been playing Dirt Track 2.
Yeah.
Whenever it would work for me. My Xbox seems to be a piece of crap right now. Doesn't want to run some of the games, but on its defense, it is quite old. I've been playing Hawken, quite a bit of Hawken this weekend. It was the double XP weekend.
Wait, it was?
Yep.
Why didn't anyone tell me this? And Redneck I do. I have never played it really, though, except for Daisy.
And
I've got it as well.
I've also played a bit. Where is my list? Let me see here. Doop. There it is. What have I played? My goodness. That's pretty much it. Hawken. Oh yes, I played a bit of that. Where was it? That game I just downloaded.
Not it. But,
Fudge-a-dudge. Oh yes, the Showdown. The Showdown effect.
oh, you played that?
Played about 27 minutes of it.
Oh, you ass.
Just to see what it was all about.
You ass.
I've also played... Oh.
You ginger ass with no soul.
Yeah, I can find you.
Rather than that, I've been watching a lot of Jess playing his Kerbal. I played some
Her.
demos and whatnot. I watched the recent E3 from my Xbox. It gave us a few hints of some of the games that were coming out, running 60 FPS. Happy about that. Don't need no more shit. Rather than that, I've been doing not too much.
Well, you and Nolan both have been playing a ridiculous amount of Hawkins, so I want to hear about this.
Well, it doesn't even tell you how much of Hawken we've been playing, but the amount of Hawken I played, let's just say I had a level, I think, 10 mech, which within the one day it leveled it up from level 10 up to level 20. I bought a technician. I leveled it up from level 4 to 12 today, maybe, or something like that. And been leveling up my other mechs also.
Yeah, right now I've got 3 or 4 mechs leveled up to 25 and another one at around 22.
Holy crap.
I got one at level 10.
But what does all that mean? I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's an addictive game. It's kind of this wonderful thing, in my opinion, that it's this shooter. That it's a shooter, and there's all the good things about a shoot. Well, many of the good things about a shooter, where there's terrain and tactics and flanking and
guns and bullets.
Yeah,
and shooting.
There's a strategical element to it. It's not just purely twitchy skill. So that's happening in the game, and there's definitely very much unlike some. Well, I don't know about unlike. The classes are very different, and they have different strengths, and that means a whole different way of playing, which is interesting in the way all those things fit together. Teamwork is required in some of them.
Very much.
In the siege mode and the other mode, but I think one of the reasons that it's such an antidote, and maybe why it's kind of stolen me away from my beloved PS2, PlanetSide 2, is that it's not twitchy at all. It's relatively you can skill through and do much better and, lead the leaderboard on a certain thing and be owning fools left and right.
And surprisingly enough, it's usually not deaths.
It's
If you're any good at.
And yet your doing of that is not because you amped up your attention to the very fine detail of not getting ever shot. In other words, in PS2 or like any shooter, the moment you're under fire, bam, it's over, and it's done, right? It's like you can't get hit at all. And whereas in these big clunky machines that you're playing with in Hawken, you kind of lumber around, so it doesn't have that sort of fiddly, very fine, like where the kind of rim of danger is here, and then the minute you've gone over it, it's like that's it. It's a little more forgiving that way. So
it's very very little one-shotting.
Yeah. There's no one-shotting, and it's not like that sort of. I don't know.
It's the kind of game where if you die, you know it's your fault rather than thinking, that guy's got really good premiums or, like, the game's unfair. It's always, yeah, I screwed up, I got killed. Whereas in PlanetSide 2, when I was playing that, a lot of the times you die, you're like, either that guy's got really good premium items and paid real money for this
premium
stuff.
items in
It's
more so if you die in PlanetSide 2, there's probably some asshole in a Reaver or a mosquito with rocket pods.
Yeah.
Another way of saying what I was trying to say too is that cover, you don't have to adhere that closely to cover. Where the minute you're out from cover, you could be dead instantly.
Yeah.
So and sometimes it's to your advantage to power through and turn the flank of the enemy by kind of putting yourself at risk, so that the rest of your team can take advantage of them being sort of turned, if you want.
Oh yes, for
Also,
sure.
the strategic part of it. So you might even sacrifice yourself or whatever in order for the wider objective. So all of these kinds of strategic, fun things, and the ability to really have great rounds, even for I don't think James and I would ever claim to be professional level FPS players.
No.
And yet we have our moments when we're kind of leading the team, and that's awfully fun. I guess one of the downsides is that there is a pretty bad tendency, to be honest, for the games to be one-sided. For whatever reason, the way the balancing and the way the factors combine, you would think just any random handful wouldn't so frequently be so one-sided. But it's almost like there's some kind of tipping point, and once you reach it, it's like all their game or all the other games. Now, on the other hand, a little strategy can work you out of that. If you can persuade your team to get to in the siege mode, if you can persuade your team to get to the AA where they had not been before, and if you're the first one there, you can surprise the winning team, the team that's been dominating you, and actually see a dramatic change. So that too is...
Oh shit, yeah, we've seen that twice today.
Right.
It happened to us. We were going and we were just owning it. Like, we had one game that lasted 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Damn.
And one set
that's
of...
a really long game for that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We were getting 20,000 experience in one game. It was...
Oh, shit.
Of course, it's double XP. But, there are those occasional epic games within what is basically a relatively quick, short-round shooter. I do find when I play the game, though, I don't know, I'm a poor loser, so I get frustrated when things aren't going my way or where we're not winning in this. So it can be a time sink for that reason. You're sort of like, it's like gambling, you're just kind of waiting for it to turn around and go your way. So there's a little of that.
Basically, with Hawken, you need a good team. You need you don't have to have, but you need people with microphones that will talk to you. It helps out 100%. I'm sure no one will agree with me on that. When you can get to talk to each other and like, okay, you're up there, you're in the fight, you're face to face with these people, okay, you're going, okay, all of a sudden you die. Well, within that, I don't know, however long they do like a type of kill cam thing, they show you the person who killed you, and you can see what's around them or whatever. So you can still then key up your microphone and say, okay, there's 3 guys back there, the guys, healing up or whatever. And you can converse between each other and say, well, okay, we're like within the siege when we play. Well, the enemy's going to launch here shortly, or we're going to launch here shortly, or me and Buddy just come from the EU. We've got more than enough to launch us. The rest of you head to the AA.
Right.
It's just basically like a military type thing, always in communication.
And you can, if you compare that to a game like, what's the great shooter from Steam with the hats,
Of course you would, yeah.
TF2?
I had to.
Of course you do.
Team Fortress 2, if you compare it to Team Fortress 2, for example, you do notice that, again, that that the strategy comes forward a little bit more as opposed to it being a massive scrum. And with that, you kind of meet people a little bit more. You kind of get to know people, the people who talk. And that's cool, too. Whereas usually it's such a horde in a game like TF2 that you never really distinguish new people that you start to know so much. And you don't really see a lot of strategy working out. You just ended up on the better team. That's why you won. You know what I mean? And you can play better or worse, but it doesn't have that same kind of sense of the decisions that you're making resulting in victory. And that's what's cool. I don't know. For me, that's what's cool. And in shooters is when the strategy means something, and it's not just Twitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got it, Redneck. TF2. So, yeah, I mean, that's why I rationalize my addiction to Hawken. But what can I say? It's a free to-play game, and I haven't sunken a dime into it, and I frankly, I feel no need to. I wouldn't mind supporting it. I don't have the same religious fervor, so I don't feel as much of a desire to support it as I did with PS2, but there you have it. Beyond that, I haven't been playing much. Company of Heroes, the old one, a little bit.
Oh, we just got finished playing, what the heck is it? Memoir 44, however you say it.
44. It's a great little casual beer and pretzels board game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a little go on that with Norn. In fact, that's on the YouTube channel. Yeah, that game is pretty damn good.
Which one?
Memoir 44.
Yeah.
The only thing that I don't like about it is the fact that it's pretty much entirely luck-based on what card you get and what dice you roll.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a game of chance. You take your chance at rolling the dice. You take your chance of what cards you get.
No question about it. But, you have to take it a little bit lightly for that reason.
It's not an overly serious game.
No.
But, yeah, it kind of is.
But you're deploying your strategy. I mean, remember, guys, this is a venerable, this is an institution in, beer and pretzels board gaming. What's his name? Rob Borges or something like that, who made it. I mean, if you go to your local game shop, there is a whole section devoted to Memoir 44. What's cool about what you have on Steam there is it's a very nice little adaptation, and you can see all of the content and really access all of the content from all the board games. It's pretty remarkable because those things cost you when you're buying the cardboard. So
yeah,
fun little game.
It looked that way.
I have to show this that I just found. Oh wow!
And it's got
still haven't played.
It's got a little bit of history. You can, when you open a scenario, you can click on the tab and read about the World War II history behind it. It's kind of cool.
So it's wonderful if you're at all a history buff, especially when it comes to the World Wars and that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's so simple and so abstracted, but it is kind of cute the way they model, things like allies have superior air power. So when there's a particular card that has to do with air power, so that if you're the allies, you get to roll 2 dice to hit as opposed to just 1. It's just such a simple abstraction, but when you read your books about Battle of the Bulge, that was very true. The fact that at that point in the war, because it's mostly all centered. Well, obviously it's centered after 1941 when we got into the war. Starting with Normandy and all of that, and indeed, by that time, the Germans were depleted, and we had superior air. So just a simple thing like that is modeled in the game. But anyway, what else? Is there anything else that we want to cover right now about what we have played in the last...
Oh, shit. I forgot. I played State of Decay, a demo on the Xbox. It's a fairly good game. It's a zombie-based game. You're walking around. First off, you start out, you got this stick, basically just a stick. And all of a sudden these zombies start running at you. Well, you just start beating the shit out of them with a stick and clubbing their heads off and whatnot. And as you go through, you get to this one little point where it's like a... I don't know what you call it. It's an outpost, and you go to it, and it's like a campsite type thing. And when you get there, there's this guy here saying, "Well, we've got some supplies here. We've also got to go check out the surrounding campsites to see if there's any survivors." Well, okay, you go on there. And it tells you there's a water tower back behind the building here, so you can get a good high vantage point to look around. You zoom in with this kind of like, I guess you could call it not microscope, but binoculars, and look around, and you peg all the different campsites, and you go look at them, and you pick up items out of their bags and whatnot that they'd left around, and you go on through, and you got noises sometimes when you go into things. You don't know what the heck if it's gonna make a noise, if it's gonna make a loud noise, just a little noise, or whether you're just gonna get some snacks out of the bags, some a little bit of health or a gun or whatever else. It's just basically like surviving a zombie outbreak.
And if you want to do this even better, just play Daisy.
Yeah. Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking. And with the quick little discussion we had there about the Warzy or the Borzy, which is absolutely horribly boring, and the game itself, well, mod itself, I should say, is absolutely terrible and unstable as hell. Again, just Daisy. Daisy is the same thing, but it does everything right.
It's the original and it's better.
Yeah.
Which is amusing because it's a mod.
But it's a very good mod. I mean, it's just a game built off another game. It's
So
the term mod, people seem to think is a bad thing because they're like, oh, it's not a real game, it's just a mod. That's not true. There's some friggin' huge mods out there for games.
And at that point, explain Counter-Strike, explain Left 4 Dead.
Exactly. Yeah, those were all
Those are all mods. Oh, Gary's mod. It's a game about mods.
I've got to show this that I just found. Oh wow. I'm jizzing right now.
Oh dear. Wow, you would be.
Yeah. This dude's space station? I am so jelly. So, for people who can see this, that thing has actually been put up there in several parts and docked. Each one of these little cans you see have been docked onto each other, and then you've got those huge solar panel arrays that have been docked onto each other. However this guy got them up there, I want to know. note that the boxes with those lists of stuff in is actually a mod that they're using. So ignore that shiz, because it's not the real game. Now, there's some useful mods out there. That one actually lets you transfer crew via the docking ports, so you don't actually have to get your people out of the craft. It's more fun
Oh,
to
that would
get
actually be really nice.
Yeah, but it's more fun to get your dudes out of the craft and have to get them there manually using the ladders and flying around in space.
And then losing your dude.
We
Yeah,
seem to
I did
have
that once.
slipped back into a discussion of Kerbal.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, because I found
Back
this
to
this
Kerbal.
amazing picture, and I'm just like, oh, I want it so bad.
One thing I have got to bring up that we mentioned last thing, because we hit our 35 viewers, we were talking about giveaways. I was wondering if we had figured out how we were going to do that yet.
But before we do that, should I go over what I've been playing, seeing as you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
love forgetting about me?
Go ahead. Well, you're so
Alright.
quiet over there, you know.
Yeah, well, that's because I'm a gentleman and don't like interrupting.
Is that what it is?
You a gentleman.
Yeah, that is,
That would work better if you weren't interrupting all throughout, but go on.
Alright, so just going over my list of recently played games. Binding of Isaac, as always. I'm beginning to hate that game because I play it so much and I'm so bad at it. Not nearly as much Kerbal Space Program as Jess, but still quite a bit. And new game, one of the new games that I got this week was Mark of the Ninja, courtesy of Known. And shut up, Rex. I've done it 3 times. It's actually a really good side-scrolling stealth game. Originally, I thought that would be for a rather poor combo, but it actually makes a really good game. I've also been playing a bit of Magicka with those of you who actually play it with me. That game is fun. If you're playing with someone else, you will find yourself yelling at them, but it will be yelling followed by laughter because they probably would have blasted you over an edge by accident or on purpose, as some people in the chat can verify.
Yeah, blasting your friend off of a cliff at a ridiculous rate and watching them fly off the screen is always fun in that game. It never gets old.
Yep. Yeah, Rex, we were trying to cross a river, so we were freezing the water because wizards can't swim. It's a well-known fact. And Rexus was behind me, and he would keep melting all the water with the fire.
Ice.
So we yes, he was melting all the water. That was frozen. And so we keep falling through, and then before he could revive us, he would die, so then we'd have to go back to the last checkpoint.
Always.
And yeah, and last thing I want to say is Borderlands 2. Been getting back into that a bit, and I'm really pumped for Tuesday, because Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon's Keep is coming out then, which is a DLC for that game. It's kind of like, for those of you who know the Tiny Tina character, it's essentially Tiny Tina DMing a game of D&D that you're playing in. And it looks hilarious. Man, aside from that, mostly playing Twiddle My Thumbs.
Or twiddle something else. Say what?
Giggity giggity.
Okay, now on to that giveaway thing. Have we figured out how we are going to do that?
Yeah, basically we're gonna take the codes that we've got and give them away.
No shit.
Hey, can I win?
Huh?
I want to win.
You want to win? I don't
You've
think.
likely got all the games that we've given away. Shh.
Yeah, I'm just thinking. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you got every single game that we're giving away. But we have in total almost 100 codes to give away for several different games. So throughout
So those of you in chat right now, just alt tab whatever you're doing and just copy and paste.
It just occurred to me very briefly. Does Mark of the Ninja, is that co-op as well?
I don't believe so.
It's a single player game, period.
Yeah, I think that's the case.
All right, sorry to interrupt.
Maybe some co-op challenges. I'll check.
It's all gravy. You do know you can go to the store page and it'll tell you. But
We are giving away good games. Ha.
yeah, we got
No.
so many codes to give away, but we're gonna... It depends. We need to make it fair, and we're gonna have it when we've got more viewers. We'll do
Oh, come on.
random picks using the bot. Other times we may
And-
have people on the stream to like compete for them, so have some sort of
Hey,
deathmatch in some game, last man standing gets
What?
a code, stuff like that.
Why don't you just give it to all our early adopters? Seeing as you have so many codes.
Because that would be unfair to later viewers.
But they weren't here earlier.
True enough.
Yeah,
It's a reward for people who are actually here now putting up with our useless ramblings.
you don't just give them straight
We
out.
did say we were going to
Reading.
give away a game once we hit 35. We haven't done that yet.
No, we
should
said
at
we'd
least give
start the
people that.
giveaway. We'd start the giveaway.
Well, we haven't started yet.
I know.
and we're at
I'm
41.
saying we're going to be starting the giveaway this week, and we're going to get the bot set up properly because it's in here now. We just haven't really set it up to do anything, but it'll pick random people out and we'll throw out a code to whoever it picks.
Will we eventually, once we get going again, like you said, more viewers, we'll be doing some trivia giveaways and whatnot?
I just can't wait for the viewer interaction giveaways where we get viewers on the stream to battle it out for a code. That
Yeah.
will be fun. Although anyone found to be hacking it is gonna get bitched at like they will never believe. That's for sure.
Maybe we'll put a quick like word game that you can play in chat, and not trivia, but something else. Anyway, we'll come up with some clever ways to allow you to show your skill and win
Or
games.
not clever.
We're not clever if Phenomenon's in charge.
Our viewers just suddenly jumped up to 10 in a matter of seconds. Hi
There we
viewers.
go.
I'm
Yeah.
kinda,
It's because of what giveaway was mentioned.
I'm kind of
Yeah.
scared now.
Giveaway. Tell your friends. But you
Yeah,
must
everyone
register.
just spam the chat giveaway.
But you must register to be able to participate in this giveaway.
Yeah, that's a good point. We need to be able to see your names and be able to message you the code. 12 viewers. Okay. Put it this way. If we get to 20 viewers, we'll give the game away right now. When's the best emote on Twitch? That's easy.
This is.
Kappa Kappa. Yeah. See, we're awesome. We both know the
You're
best.
not your fail.
Well, welcome to the show, new listeners, and we are just about to overwhelm you with our content. So what's next? What's next on the agenda? How do you want to close up discussion of the giveaway?
No one said agenda. It sounds rude.
We will have more details about that in later, either late live streams or maybe if we can get a couple of us together, do maybe another podcast here shortly, just to, heads up about the giveaway and whatnot. It won't be a very long one, but just a short little, here's what's happening thing.
What was the original question? I wasn't listening. I was distracted by agenda.
He was just wondering how we were gonna end the talk about the giveaway.
Oh, and the talk is now ended. Right, moving on.
Yeah.
But for the listeners who are interested, stay tuned. By next show, someone will have a hot new game in their hand. Is that correct?
Yeah, basically throughout the week, or I should say 2 weeks since it's a bi-weekly podcast,
Yeah.
several times, if we get enough viewers, whilst we're streaming different games here and there, we'll have random giveaways. It's not going to be
Bingo.
every time we stream. It will be certain times we stream, every now and again, we'll just give one away.
It's real though, people. We actually have the games. We actually want to give them away. So
Yes,
stay
we do.
You never know, we might
Two-
give it a couple away in a single day. Depends on how many views we get and how long I'm streaming for. Um, well, we might be getting some more codes as well for some other games soon. I'm in limbo with a few different studios here and there, so fingers crossed we might get a bunch more to give away.
So let's move on. Let's talk about what's going on in the week. What you can buy. What's going on Steam, and we might want to start that with a discussion. If you have been on Steam at all, you will notice that Paradox is having a big sale. Paradox Interactive. Paradox Interactive is, this kind of semi-indie. It's in the middle. They're sort of in between, like a AAA publisher and a much smaller studio, and they make these very bookish, grand strategy games on the map of Europe and the world. Games like Europa Universalis. They're just coming out with the number 4 version of that. Probably their core game, but many games kind of on that same system. The joke is that when you play a Paradox game, they're not turn-based, but they're real-time, and you can move the time around. Like you can adjust the speed, and there's what they call the Paradox pause. You can pause the game, and they're kind of like historical simulations. And you got the World War II games, which are the Hearts of Iron games. Most recently, Crusader Kings 2, which is an excellent entry-level game for this kind of, their particular game. But the joke is that you actually play the spreadsheet. It's so information-rich. This is definitely the deep end of the pool when it comes to strategy games.
Most definitely.
But they're also a publisher. Whoa, excuse me. They're also a publisher, and they do real-time games. They do. What was that hack and slash, the sword one? I can't think.
Hack and slash with the sword. Okay, that narrows it down. Thank you.
Yeah. I can't think. Sorry, but you'll see it on there. I'll come up with it. But also Magica. I don't know. I mean, I'm interested in getting one of these clowns. Frankly, I have not penetrated one of these games. Like, I have not actually. Yeah, I penetrate. I get it. I actually cannot quite get into it. I've bought many of them because I love the idea, but they're just a little, frankly, dry, and just they're not super goal oriented. They're sort of like Civilization off steroids, or something. Only in real time. It doesn't really make much sense, but
This is your brain. This is your brain on crack.
yeah. And so I would like to see one of you all go ahead, buy Crusader Kings 2, possibly, and then play it, love it, and then somehow, like, get me to love it too, because I own it. But Crusader Kings 2 is a good one. It has to do with, it's another, it's a strategy game. You're trying to dominate the world and all that, but you're actually not. Mountain Blade, that was the one, the hack and slash one.
Oh yeah, I've got that one. Definitely a lot more than a hack and slash.
That's on sale for $5. But in Crusader Kings 2, you're playing a dynasty. You're trying to keep your bloodline in power. Map of medieval Europe, which is done with the actual, the family trees of the real royals of that era, and so forth and so on. And there's all kinds of plots and intrigues, and you have to marry properly, and people are killing off your like sons so that they can't inherit the throne, so that maybe your brother will inherit the throne, and then maybe you want him to, or maybe you don't, because that'll put you in a good position to marry well into another region and acquire more territory this way. And evidently the way people talk about it, they love it. It's great. Again, it's a good entry game for the series, or for this kind of game, the Paradox strategy game. People say that stories emerge really well. But you have to be prepared to fail, and you can't go in looking to win that fast. You just got to kind of let it be a little bit, and eventually the patterns emerge and stuff like that. So that's one thing that's going on this week in Steam. Is anybody interested in any of the Paradox games on Steam other than Magica?
Magic is awesome.
I'm guessing not.
Well, there's a segue here too. One of the funniest, one of the best, one of the nominees for all-time best game trailer. Is there some? Do we want to play that? Is that like? Do we have the copyright permission to do that or whatever?
Likely not.
For what?
On our dock.
It's on our dock. Yeah, the game trailer for Leviathan.
Give me a sec. You guys keep talking. I'll check if it's viable or not.
Talkity talk.
Well, what else is interesting on Steam? Have there been any sales or?
So, okay, here,
Games-
one of the things that was on our dock I could remember is what you could buy within the next 2 weeks. Well, available on June 25th is Company of Heroes 2 for $59.99.
Yeah.
Also, a Deadpool. I'm not sure quite what the game's all about, but it's on sale for $39.99.
It's probably about Deadpool.
Likely. There are a few. Here, I'll just read a little bit from it. There are a few important things I need to say before you crack into my insanely sweet game. Here we go again. I'm a mercenary with an accelerated healing factor. I've been described as unstable, which is just plain Coco, whatever he means by that. Wait, do sane people say Coco? And that's all it says. So it's not really about the game. It's just a little thing that the dude said. There's another thing here available tomorrow. Ride to Hell Retribution.
Actually, I believe that one isn't that a remake of old PS1 game.
I'm not sure. I'm just looking on the coming soon part of Steam here.
Yeah.
Apparently it's Super Splatter. It doesn't have a price, so I imagine it might be a free-to-play. I don't know, buy it once, play on it, PC or Mac, whatever. It's available the 26th. Of course, you got Magic 214 as available. Bunch of download packs, of course. A whole bunch of download packs, a page of them.
Borderlands 2, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon Keep comes out on the 25th.
Yeah. Dark, whatever that game is, it's available on the 28th. 15% off currently for $33.99. Gun Monkeys, no price listed, but available on the 28th. Jack Keenan 2, however you say that. Yeah, I'm not even going to attempt to say that one. There is a NASCAR game, 213, 10% off currently, available today. No, sorry, July 24th.
Nope.
Shadowrun returns. Doesn't say when it's available, but on sale, 10% off, $17.99. Saints Row 4 available for $49.99. Payday 2 available August 2/13. Currently for
Now you've gone a bit far ahead.
Yeah, well, that's up and coming. That last one was just something I thought I'd mention. It's a quite fun game. But yeah, rather than that, that's about all I know. They have some sales on currently too.
Okay.
Do
Are
just
we going to show that little trailer, or is that not what we want to do here?
Yeah, let's keep the amount of trailers to a minimum.
the game that we were talking about here just a second ago, Magica, is currently on sale 50% off for the collection or $17.49.
Definitely a great game, especially if you have friends that you can play that with. And just message me if you want to.
Civilization 5, Brand New World on 10% off,
Brave New World.
$26.99.
Brave New World, right. I mean, do you guys want my riff on Civ 5?
Go for
Go
it.
for it. Let's waste there.
Well, I'm kind of, I think, basically there's two problems with Civ 5 next to Civ 4. Civ 4, I'm among those people who list Civ 4 as sort of favorite game of all time type of a thing. Time passes, there's a lot of cool stuff out there, but that was the game, sort of, the Bible game, or whatever. What happened with Civ 5 is they did, they took Civ 4, which is a turn-based strategy game where you build your empire, and there's all these interlocking systems from economy to production and religion and all these things, and they all fit together in complex ways. And you get this kind of snowballing effect. So you're growing, and it takes hours and hours and hours. And you think about it. It's one of those games that you think about when you're not playing it. That's when you know you're really playing a great game. Civ 5,
being addicted.
Yeah, Civ 5 was by a modder from the forums who did this great mod for Civ 4. And what was it called? It was a mythic mod. I can't remember. In any case, beautiful graphics, updated, and what he did is he brought the hex to the board instead, and a kind of a combat system, or what it looked like to be a combat system. So the problem is that when they shipped the game, and I think still to this day, that as cool as there is some combat now in Civ, it used to be Stack of Doom, which was kind of a poor simulation. It was, it made war more or less an expression of your economy. There were still things that you needed to know how to do with it, but it was there was a lot of pushing a lot of fucking pips around. And it wasn't that, strategic, really. But what this was supposed to do was give us some kind of combat that was, tactical and interesting. Problem was, Civ 4 is primarily a single-player game, and really is Civ in general is a single-player game, and the AI just didn't know how to play it. The AI just doesn't understand the rules of the game very well. It's just a crappy AI. So here's this neat system, but it's totally useless because you can't play it because there's no opponents. So that was problem number one. And then problem number two is that Civ 5 has a tendency to just simply, every system in the game is just a cumulative system. Culture gives you points. You accrue point. Once you get to a certain point, you're able to spend those points, and then those points give you some kind of advantage. And that's just not that interesting overall, because then the systems don't really interact in the same kind of intriguing ways. They don't multiply upon each other. You're just accumulating a store of stuff, whether it's money or culture or science, and then you just spend it. And that's just not as cool. Whereas there was much more of an organic feeling in Civ 4, where there were multiplicative effects, and it was like you were manipulating a big system that had rules, and sometimes it was hard to understand, frankly, that you could study it a lot and go on the forums and stuff, but at least it was kind of rich. This just seems kind of flat after that. So that's the problem with Civ 5. And the new, and this is basically just basic, this is the critique that you get from Tom, anyone, Metacritic, Tom,
Tom, what's his face?
There you go. Civ 5. He's the hater. But anyway, but Brave New World basically bolts on some more systems of the same kind. Doesn't improve any of the problems that I've just spoken of. And Quarter to Three, what's his name? Tom Chick, yeah. And so you kind of have the same problem. So in other words, if you're a Civ 4 lover and you had problems with Civ 5, I'm afraid those problems have not been solved. Appears to be the consensus. Having said that, being a kind of Civ 4 lover myself and jumping into Civ 5, it's still Civ, and it's beautiful. It's really nicely put together. It feels a little simpler. And so if you just kind of want to play a turn-based strategy game and play some Civ, you can jump in and almost immediately start playing Civ, and you don't even have to think. So that's sometimes that's kind of nice, because you just want to, you kind of want to just get going, and you can do that with Civ 5. So not everybody espouses this espousal, but that's the overall take that I think makes the most sense. So there you have Civ 5.
Also, that Levation, or however you say that, Levation. Yeah, it is on sale, 25% off, on for $7.49. The game we mentioned before, Mountain Blade, is on for 75% off for $374. Sorry.
Whoever put the link in the doc for the GameSpot link of what's coming out soon. It says new releases week of June 23rd, 2013. And the second one on the list is Awesome Notes, release date June 23rd, 2013. It's been available on Steam since like August 1st last year. Well done, GameSpot. Well done.
Yep.
I just put in the chat the amusing Leviathan game trailer to watch in your own time. It's kind of funny. It's a little bit amateurish on purpose, and yeah, it's good.
A lot of play on words.
Yeah.
It's funny. I watched it.
All right, what's next, gents?
Does anybody else have anything else to talk about?
Guys and gals.
Clearly.
Rests.
Okay, I'm guessing
We
not.
can talk about that.
I mean, there is a tech talk topic, a tech talk topic that I don't know seems relevant to everyone a little bit, which is
Well, like no one was having computer trouble.
We were going to coming for the future. Jess's brother. We were going to have him as a guest on our podcast, and we will do the way he likes to talk about tech. I will say a large portion of tech talk.
So we'll pretty much have a Tech Talk specific episode.
Yeah.
But I mean, just a simple thing that I think people want to know if they're PC gamers is how hot is two. So yes, it all began with blue screens, and blue screens occur evidently because of hardware problems. It could be
software.
And
Blue screens are basically, hey, I'm fucked.
A blue screen can happen for many reasons, both hardware and software. Pretty much anything can fuck it up.
Memory dumps.
But it's a
blue screens can happen by changing one thing in the registry and then hitting print and then hitting scroll lock 3 times in a row.
Well, that's how much I know.
Or even
there you have it.
editing one thing in the registry. You don't even have to hit scroll lock.
Well, that's the way to do it and not completely destroy your.
Is that the way you forced it?
Yeah.
You see, if you are going to force a blue screen, learn command prompt. You can very easily force a blue screen and do it safely. no matter what it is, even if you know what it is. Don't change anything in the registry to create a blue screen because you can easily fuck your system even if you think you know what you're doing. You should never change stuff in the registry, especially if you're trying to force a
Yes,
blue screen.
Mom.
Yeah, exactly, little boy. Go sit in the corner. As far as the temperature, I always say 67 is the cutoff point for Intel CPUs, always.
Oh, no. The i5 I looked up, that thing can do 85 pretty safely.
You see, the thing is, it can do it, but it won't last longer than a year to a year and a half. It can do it.
If
A
you're
lot of
running,
CPUs can do it. A lot of older CPUs can do it. It's not recommended.
if you're running it constantly at that temperature, one, what are you doing? And two,
Exactly. Your cutoff point for what I'm talking about is regular use at a stable temperature, and the cutoff point maximum 67. You want to keep it below that. 60 recommended. 60 is fine. Mine generally, even running Kerbal, it's actually still running right now. Let's have a look at my temperature. It's been running for hours, and my max core temperature is approximately 53 degrees. And it's been running
Celsius.
for hours now. Yeah, 53 degrees Celsius. So,
I think the hottest I've gotten my CPU is 67 degrees Celsius.
well,
Hottest I've ever gotten my CPU.
me and James and Dungeon Defenders tanked my frame rate to 1, I think it
Yeah.
got for a second. We tanked it to about 6 and 4 FPS steady, and at one point it went to 1 FPS, and we were doing that for about half an hour to an hour in total. And I went and checked my CPU temperature, and it was 66 degrees, and straight away I was like, we're stopping this. I turned the game off and let it cool down. It took about 15 minutes for it to cool down back to normal temperatures, but that's my cutoff point, because anything higher, yes, it can still work, it can still be stable and working, but no matter what part of your computer it is, whether it's CPU, GPU, RAM, even your PSU, if you're running it at a high temperature, it'll work, it'll be stable, but it will kill it faster, regardless
Yeah.
of what part it is. If you're running it hotter, it will kill it faster. The cooler, the better, no matter what. Simple
The
as
more
that.
heat, the more you're weakening.
Exactly.
I guess that can be it for our podcast tonight of June 24th, 2013. I have been your co-host, James Bond 6926.
I've been your host, Tag Emo Girl.
I've been your not
known
barely tough. Ba-da-ba-da.
Do.
That's all I have to say.
And
Now go do something actually productive with your lives.
and our editor at large.
No, we already did that.
No.
But I'm going to step down my line there. But yes, indeed. So thanks for listening. Adios, amigos and amigas. We will see you again in about 2 weeks.
You just called everyone amoeba. I heard that. You said amoeba.
Lies.
Please tune
Damn
in.
lies.
Please tune in during the week. We are hopefully going to have some game live streaming and more talk about our game giveaways. So pop in on us on a regular basis here and there. You might see us live streaming and get your information of what you most
Do we have any
interest
social media?
game giveaways.
If you
Yes.
want to follow us, the links are all there at the bottom of the screen right now.
We are on Facebook. Apparently, I believe we're also on Twitter.
Yep, Steam, Google
YouTube,
Plus, YouTube,
and
everything.
And go ahead.
The best one, if you want to know exactly when we're going live, is join the Steam group. Because whenever we go live, we post an announcement a few minutes before, and then it'll just pop up on your screen. Nice and simple. Throughout the week, definitely, if you've enjoyed the talk about Kerbal Space Program, I will definitely be streaming some of that. I'm going to be attempting to make a space station, a space station core, and then I'm going to dock several modules with it, or attempt to, and fail horribly.
If you would If you would like to get a hold of us via Steam, if you are on Steam, my gamer tag is JamesBond6926. Add me up, ask me questions. If I don't know the answers, I will get them. And you can also also have the bit that we do is pick a game for us to play. Um, the games that you see on the screen currently are games of all the games that Jess has.
No, nowhere near. That's not even a small portion of the games I have.
Well, okay, not all of them. Let's just say what would fit in the window.
Yeah, pretty much. If you want to see my entire list and request any game off that list, join the Steam group. You'll find my name there. I am the owner of the group, obviously, and you can view all of my games on my profile. So any game you want me to play, just throw me a message and I can put the stream up at some point and play that.
Yes.
I have... Let's see how many games I actually have on Steam now. I have a total of 146. Oh, wait. Scratch that, 145. There's a demo currently on, so it counts that as a game.
Alrighty, well, that has been your podcast for the 24th of June. We bid you goodbye, and we will see you in 2 weeks.
And thank you, those of you who came out and stayed out.
Yes, thank you for viewing.
Goodbye.
Bye. And thoroughly clean out your ears with bleach.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. Highly recommended.